Welcome to Scotland.
So we have just finished up editing a mini documentary on cold water therapy, and I want to show you the behind the scenes and how fun that was doing that. But also I want to show you guys sort of why cold therapy really is important. Let's jump into the video.
Honestly, I don't know who the fuck to trust. Is he my friend or my foe? I'm off the exit, draw. Yeah, she give me that claim as well. I remember back when I was younger, I was happy. Nowadays feel like no one understand me. I'm good at artists, silly, I'm bought.
So if you could do me a massive favor, guys, before we jump into the video, head down below, like, comment and subscribe as always. It is appreciated. So we was in Scotland recently with Luke and Tom Stoltman, and we all said we wanted to do something. Now, Luke has been a massive advocate for cold water therapy, for mental health, and he's really, really motivated to sort of make a change at the moment and make a difference. So he wanted to do something. So we came up with a project, mainly Luke who did this, but we came up with the project of taking a group of people to a frozen loch and Loch Morlick, and taking these people there and getting them to get in the cold water and see what comes from the film. So it's kind of run and gun. It was all over the place, but we have finally finished the project and it is on Luke and Tom's channel at the moment. So if you want to, go check that out.
The first time that you do it, you've got that kind of bit of fear. You need fear to feel alive.
We haven't had like these social interactions that we're used to, and I think people have suffered for it, for not going to work, staying at home.
The way the world is right now with COVID and everything, I think a lot of people are shutting off, and when you're shutting off, you're then just going onto your phone, onto social media, comparing yourself to other people's lives.
I've suffered from depression and anxiety a few years ago now. I've not fully gotten over it, but I've learned to deal with it, I
would just lock things up and just not kind of let anything out.
I was bottling emotions when I shouldn't have been. I had a lot of people around me, but it's just the old scenario, being a man.
I mean, on my worst day, I would struggle to get out of bed. I didn't want to speak to anybody. I had no pride. I didn't want to do anything.
So cold water has been a big thing for me and my brothers for a long time. We have always, for some reason, been attracted to cold water. We used to take cold baths as kids. We loved running in the sea. And then when we started training to be athletes, we started taking cold baths for recovery. And at the time, there was only one guy who was doing that, and that was Wim Hof. And for some reason, to everybody, it seemed like he had these magical superpowers. But I think we all kind of missed the point. That's not the point Wim was trying to make with all these things he was doing. The point Wim was trying to make is that everyone can use this, and everyone can use it for their mental health. So that's why, for us, it's even more magical that we're involved in this project. When we get involved in a project, we like to immerse ourselves in it. And luckily, we love the cold water. We have an ice bath at the studio that we use all the time. And this was like a magical weekend for us. So it started with Luke. So we went up to see Luke in Scotland, and that night we went down to the loch where we were going to be filming the next day, and he had an axe in his hand and he just started chopping a big fat hole in the loch, and we jumped in there, and it was honestly the most magical moment of my life. So it was the clearest night. I was there with my brothers, with my friends, and we was all sat there in this loch in the pitch black in this cold water, and I've never felt so alive in my life. And yeah, that's just, for us, being able to embody the project that we're about to shoot is like super important. And we wouldn't want to try and shoot something or promote something that we don't actually feel has benefits ourselves. So the very next day is when we did the shoot, and that's when we took the group down to the loch and filmed it. And again, such a magical day. So many people experiencing what we got to experience the night before. And yeah, here's some of those shots from the day.
Every time I go in, I just feel, just happy. And then when you come out, you get this rush of I feel this heat. It's weird, even though it's like -2, I just get that rush of heat in my body. I don't know, it's just like euphoria for me. We'll get 2 of you first. It's warmer in there than it is out here. Look at it that way.
Looking forward to it?
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're born ready, mate.
Yeah, born ready, exactly.
Okay, I'm in.
Here you go. There you go.
Well done, guys.
Well done. That's it. How are you feeling?
Spicy and icy.
So some of my tips after that day, after shooting that day, is 1, make sure you wrap up warm, or make sure you get comfortable. Whenever you're on shoot, there is going to be something that can make you uncomfortable. It might be the piece of gear that you're wearing. So I had a big overhead rig. With that, you need to make sure that you're comfortable all day to shoot all day long. There's certain times as a filmmaker where you're going to be uncomfortable and you just need to crack on and you need to get with the program. But if you can prepare as much as possible to be comfortable, then you're going to be okay. So we had gloves on, double socks, double joggers, double hoodie. And it's not because we're not afraid of the cold. It's not because we're afraid of the cold. It's because if I start shaking in a shot, it's going to ruin the shot. You need to be as comfortable as possible. So that's exactly what we did. And there's no heroes in this game, guys. Make sure you're comfortable for your shoot. So one of the biggest things for me and Will is that this was actually our first mini documentary that we've done. We've been working with the Stoltmans to produce a feature-length documentary that's going to be coming out next year. But for us, this was our first piece. Now, one of the things I wish that we'd had more time to do was preparation, and a lot of that was down to me. I should have prepared better for the documentary, but we decided to go at it run and gun. We didn't actually expect to have a frozen overlock. So when I planned this shoot, we was going to do a social experiment kind of deal. Now, when we got down that night and we noticed, well, we knew that the lock was frozen, we couldn't really shoot what I wanted to do. So I wanted to shoot people walking in to a cold lock, slowly walking into the cold lock. That can't happen because there was small holes that were like frozen over. So the project changed straight away. And we decided we'd just shoot as much as we can and then we'll edit it into a piece. We had a rough idea of what we was gonna do. One of the things that I would say that is super important with these projects, and some people think this is just pretentious bullshit, but to me it's not. Like, to me, getting involved in a project is everything. Like, it's absolutely everything. So if my subject is getting in the sea, I'm getting in the sea. I'm gonna get as close as I can to what they're experiencing with the camera in my hand. So with this, we didn't get to go in the water that day, which was disappointing, but we had the camera gear and we couldn't get in the lock because we would be shaking and wouldn't be able to shoot the shots. So the very next day we drive back to the lock, me and William was on the way back to England and we went back to the exact same holes. And yeah, this was our experience from that day.
Good morning. Morning, Will.
Morning.
Morning, guys. So today we are at Loch Mulligan in the Scottish Highlands. We've got the trusty Red Dragon and we are just finishing off a short documentary that we are doing with the Stoltman Brothers about cold water therapy and mental health.
Yes.
So why are we here at Loch Mulligan, Will?
To jump in the ice.
So we're going to shoot some B-roll just to finish off the project, but also we're just going to jump back in the water again. We went in there last night or the night before with Luke and Harry and Lewis, and then it was cold, and then yesterday we shot people getting in there, so we filmed a lot of people getting in it, and today we're going to film the B-roll, so we'll take you through that, and we're also going to get in Loch Mulligan again. Looking forward to it, Will.
I'm excited.
And then we've got a 400-mile drive back to the UK, to Nottingham. It's -4 at the moment, -4.
It is cold, yeah.
Right, let's go. The beach is literally we're right next to the car park, and it's the most amazing setting ever. It's like pine forests all over the place. But what we're going to do is shoot some B-roll with this beast, and then we've got a camera for ourselves to take some photos of this lake. This lake is probably the coldest body of water we've been in before.
Yeah.
So we have the ice bath at the studio, which we do every other night. But there's something about being at nature as well that kind of makes it better. Fully recommend it. The documentary's coming soon, the short documentary. If you want to see sort of that, go follow the Stoltman Brothers. That's where it's going to be. More than a physical recovery thing now. We talk a lot about mindset and mentality. The cold water is that knock around. So. Holy smokes. So, I mean, just look at the beach. This is a sandy beach. Well, supposed to be a sandy beach.
So I'm excited to get in. The actual bit that makes me nervous is the idea of getting out.
Yeah.
Because it's hard getting out the cold water, walking back onto the snow, and you're shaking, you're trying to get dry. Once you've done that, once you've got there, the excitement and the adrenaline from getting in the ice probably keeps you warm and excited. So John's just getting some B-roll of the lake, probably already said that. Yeah, so he's getting some video of the ice, of the landscape, just to make the edit better, add more depth to the edit, and yeah, it just gives you more material to work with, you know. It might not get used, it might get used for all the shots are gonna be. Beautiful. Explain what you're doing.
So, just shooting a lot of B-roll. It's like shots to show how cold it is, shots to show the surroundings, shots to show nature. The thing is when you get to the edit, something that someone said might seem more relevant as you're creating the piece. So it's better to overshoot your B-roll, and just overshoot in general, in my opinion. Especially when, this documentary that we've done here has been kind of a one-day thing. It was kind of off the fly, although we had an idea for it, but it's kind of off the fly. The ideas changed and developed and changed into different things. So we need to make sure that we're covering all bases, so when we do get back to the edit, we can we can do everything. We can make it into a certain type of documentary, we can make it into a different kind of documentary. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'd just like to add to that. When you're getting all this footage and you say you're getting a few hours of content, when you originally start editing it, you might have an idea, and then you notice something someone says, or a feel you're getting for it, or like a type of emotion you're getting from the film, and then suddenly a shot that you just did because suddenly becomes like quite an important shot of the documentary or the film, or basically of the edit. So it's good to just get everything in there, gets good, as long as it's good, then it can be used. You got any tips for filming in the snow?
Gloves. I'd say the biggest one for cold weather, and don't be a hero about it, is wrap up warm. So yesterday we was out there for like, what, 2 hours?
Yeah.
If you are cold and you are holding a camera, it's going to shake or you'll destroy the shot. So yesterday we had a lot of hoodies on, had a couple pairs of joggers on, and I was warm the whole way through. I had the gloves and hat on, and it makes a difference. Was you wrapped up warm yesterday?
Yeah, so I was actually started sweating.
Yeah.
So you want to be,
don't be a hero. You don't need to join in with what's going on in the snow. Keep yourself warm, otherwise your shot will be ruined. I think this vlog's interesting a little bit because we're going through. You never get used to it, do you?
No.
So like now we're like, oh crap, we're doing it again. We're going to do it again. We decide we're going to do it. We're going to do it. But like, you will try and back out a little bit.
Yeah.
Your mind will try. Is this sensible to do? No, it's not sensible to do. Pro tip. This is, I think, a pro tip is if you're going into the water somewhere cold, just take your clothes off and get into your swimming trunks ready. Do not stay in your warm clothes. Quickly take them off and then jump in the water. Worst idea ever. Get your feet out, get on the ice, get your shirt off and get in your shorts and just stand there for 5 or 6 minutes. And then getting in the water is not that hard, is it?
Yeah, getting in the water, that's actually kind of probably the hardest part. Like right now, my feet are killing.
So we've always got barefoot.
Right now, we're about to get in. Well, Jordan's getting in first, and I'm gonna do some of the filming of Jordan getting in. It's rewarding at the end of it, isn't it, Jordan? Yeah.
Woo! So we're on the ice. This is a first time for video of being on the ice. So here we go. Well, Will's getting in to do some photography for me.
The ice is sharp.
Make sure, yeah, you want to get your feet. Here he goes.
I can't even break through the ice.
How's the ice, Will? Try and tread where I've been, just so you don't slip. It's really thick, but that is a problem because whilst Luke Stoltman yesterday chopped through the ice with an axe, we actually don't have an axe today, and as you can see, it looks thin, but it's actually quite a thick. This is a red clutch plate for the shoulder here. It's an expensive piece of kit.
Luke looked a bit cooler when he did it.
Welcome to Scotland.
Most people say it like clears your head like it's a reset button, but I fully agree with that. Like, more just like a refresh. Like it's like, I don't know if you had any like.
When you know what your subject is going through, when you've experienced it, you respect it more, you respect the project more. If I didn't know what they'd gone through, if I didn't know what that cold water feels like, I just feel like you don't have a level of respect for it. It's the same with anything. If you're shooting a documentary about a cyclist, a strongman, a basketball player, you need to have a knowledge. You need to be able to just at least venture into their mind for just half a second, like to understand what where they're coming from, how they feel. You need to know that. Super, super important. But luckily for us, we love this anyway. Get back to the studio, we have the project, and I feel like it needed a little bit more depth than what we had. There is one guy, when you say ice water, who represents everything, and that guy is Wim Hof. Getting a guy like Wim Hof on a film isn't that easy, but I pulled a few strings, I rummaged around, and luckily we managed to get to chat to the legend himself, Wim Hof. So I was very excited for this, and I filmed some behind the scenes. I filmed me talking to Wim. So let's cut to Wim and see what he had to say. The sad thing is some people will still listen to this and they'll still stand on the sidelines, not willing to go into the cold water, not willing to do the breathing techniques. What do you say to those people who are so close to taking that step to freedom? What do you say to them?
Hey guys, it is there. Your happiness, your strength and health is awaiting. You are built to be so. So think twice before you say, no, I'm not going to do this. Hey, think twice. The investment is by far the outcome. The outcome is happiness, man, and health and strength. It's love. You're my brother, you're my sister, and I take care of you. We are a family. We take care of each other.
So this is where you can add huge value to the project. We had a project where it was Luke Stoltman and Tom Stoltman, and we took a group out of people and we did these interviews. It was a really beautiful piece. But there's, around anything, there is the governing body, there's the person who's noticed for it the most, somebody who's been through the same thing, all these people that can add value to a project. And for us, Wim Hof was really big part of that. It just hammers it home. It means that we've got resources on there now that people can go towards as well and actually use to put this cold water therapy into practical daily use. So it was massive for us that we managed to get Wim Hof. For me, the ice water represents so many different things. One, it genuinely does have a massive difference for mental health. It has impact. It really does work. It clears your mind. It's like everyone spoke about it as a reset button. It just clears your mind. You can't think about anything else because you're in this survival mode. Your body's in a state of shock with the cold water. But also, one thing I'd like to say that I think is so character building with cold water therapy is it doesn't matter how many times you've been in a cold water. There is a moment, whether it's a second or 30 minutes, where your mind will say, do not do this. Its natural instinct is, cold water is not going to be good for your body. You're resisting it, your body's resisting it, but you need to get over that. You need to tell your mind that this thing that it doesn't want to do, this natural instinct that it doesn't want to do, you need to overcome it. And there is so much power in doing something you don't want to do. That is important. Overcoming something you don't want to do. So let's put it in life is, you might not want to get up early in the morning. There's power in doing that. You're developing a habit and a will that you can get up early in the morning. You don't want to train today. You don't want to run an extra 5 miles today. There is a power in overcoming that. There is a power in getting past that. And for me, that's cold water is like the epitome of that. Nobody wants to get into the cold water. Not even Wim Hof. Wim Hof said it himself. He still resists it, but you have to get past it. One of the biggest things I want to say is for people like Luke Stoltman, who are sort of ambitious enough to try and tackle these problems, ambitious enough that they want to make a difference outside of the thing they're known for, which is strongman. He wants to make a difference in mental health. And it requires people like that, because he has now, in my opinion, offered a different perspective for cold water therapy. Whilst Wim's amazing and he absolutely pioneered the space, we need some normal looking people. I mean, Luke's one of the world's strongest men, but we need people who other people can relate with. You know, we need someone like Luke. We need an old granny to get in. You know, you need the young lad to get in, the young lady to get into the cold water. People can then relate to that and think, if they can do it, I can do it. And I think Luke's bringing like a normality to it. You know, he's just saying, just get in the cold water, go do a cold shower, go jump in a cold bath. If you've got the luxury, go jump in a cold lock. You know, there's a lake an hour's drive from everybody's house, especially in the UK. Go do it, because you don't know what this can do for you until you've tried it. Hey, you might go down there and you might find that it didn't really do anything for you and you were just cold. You've lost 30 minutes of your life. But from my experience, every single person, and I mean it, every single person on that day had huge benefits from it. The people who hadn't tried it before, they were the people who benefited the most. They were the people who couldn't believe how they felt and what it made them feel. So yeah, to me, you've just got to give it a go. If you don't like it, not a problem. But until you try, you won't know. And it's the same with anything in life. Give it a go first. Guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please go follow us on Instagram at Jordan Mulligan Brother or at William Mulligan Brother. And also, the link to all our gear is listed below. So all the camera gear that we use for our shoots and the stuff we're using today is all listed below. And it does help support the channel, so we do appreciate it. As always, thank you for watching. Have a blessed and productive day. Peace.
Honestly, I don't know who the fuck to trust. Is she my friend or my foe? I'm off the exit, bro. Yeah, she give me that claim as well. I remember back when I was younger, I was happy. Nowadays feel like